My name is Liz Jones, and my title is Associate Director of Races and Training. So my first crim was 13 years ago, and I was not a runner in any way, shape, or form. I have asthma, pretty severe asthma. It has to be, I typically have to take medications for. I also found out when I was 9 years old that I had cystic lung disease. So that means that I had a very large cyst growing in my right lung for who knows why. I don't know why it was there. They've never really been able to figure out why it was there, but they did have to operate and remove almost all of my right lung when I was 10. So when I was 10, I had my lung removed. And so I really operate I had an extra lobe on my right side. So I have a quarter of a lung over there. So I operate on 1.25 lungs plus asthma. And I had volunteered at the crim a couple times on a water station. And I remember watching all these people run and thinking, well, that's pretty amazing. That's pretty cool. But I mean, I could never do anything like that, but I still loved being part. Again, it's such ingrained in an event that everyone looks forward to every year. So I handed out water at water stations. And then until a couple of my really good friends ran the race, I never really thought about it as something I would ever do. But one of my friends ran it, and she talked so much about how, she'd been going through a divorce at the time and how she never thought she could do 10 miles, but she did. And it lit kind of a little light bulb for myself. And I thought, well, maybe I could try. It was kind of the one crutch in life. I feel like I'm a pretty ambitious individual, but a lot of physical activity for me, my disability was my crutch. And I was like, oh, I can't do that. I can't run. Working out really isn't, I have one lung. That's not going to work. I can't do that. So yeah, in 2011, I ran my first crim, and I will admit I ran the 10 mile that year because in that year, they only gave medals for the 10 mile distance. And, I often say my pace is very slow. It's when some people look at it and laugh that I call it a running pace, probably, but it's still the best that I can do. And I've inspired a lot of people to run because I've let them know what's the shame in being slow. Walking does not equate failure. Just because you haven't ran every single step does not mean you did not complete that race, does not mean that you're not a runner. So after I did that first 10 miles, I thought to myself, well, what's 3 more miles? I'm going to do a half marathon. And I did a couple half marathons. And the year that I turned 30, I was like, let's do a marathon. That seems like a cool thing to do. I'm turning 30. And I did my first marathon. And again, even that for me was from never really thinking I could actually ever exercise. The crim was that door that opened for me, just this incredible running experience. So after that, I went on, I've done 50Ks, I've done 100Ks, I've done 50 miles, I've done one 100 miler, I've done all of these amazing things. And am I last place almost every single time? Yeah. Do I ever place in my age group? Usually by default, if there's only 2 people, I might, but I don't let my disability hold me back anymore. And the crim, like I said, was that first thing where I realized I could do something I never thought I could do.